3 reasons why you should not join the Royal Marines. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and in this video I'm going to cover 3 of the biggest reasons why you as an individual should not be joining or considering joining the Royal Marines or the military as a whole. So let's get into it. The first reason is if you're joining for status. Now, what do I mean by that? So certainly with the Marines, this and the achievement of this can be perceived as a high status activity. You're clearly recognised in public situations as someone who works hard, someone who's determined, etc., etc. So there is a level of status that gets attached to joining the military, or certainly joining one of the more elite units within the military. While this is the case, it shouldn't be your only motivation for joining the military. It should be a happy byproduct of being in that environment and having achieved what you've achieved. Status isn't necessarily a bad thing, just the same as if you were to earn loads of money, and with that comes a little bit of status. Great, but the actual motivations and reasons behind doing what you are doing, joining the military or joining the Marines, should be very different. It should be a little bit deeper. If it's just status, if it's a bit more surface level, then when things get difficult during training, you're just not going to stick it out. So going into it beforehand with a poor reason why is 9 times out of 10 going to lead to failure or to being unsuccessful. So if this is the initial thought, then maybe try and go a step deeper and try and figure out and think of a reason why you should actually join what you're going in to join. Number 2 is a very simple one and a very obvious one, is if you're not willing to spend time away from family, you're not ready and willing. Because there's just a harsh reality in the military is your time is not your own, your time belongs to the service. And so because of that, you're not going to be able to choose when and where you get deployed. And so there will be, as a minimum, around 3 months per year that you're out of the country. And so if you're not prepared to do that, not prepared to spend that much time away from family, away from loved ones, then it's probably not the career for you. Equally, during training in that initial bout, there's going to be a minimum for the Marines, 9 months of training where you are not allowed to go home. You can't really stay in touch too much with people because you're so busy. So again, if that's not something you're willing and ready to do, it's going to be a very difficult career for you to maintain. On the flip side of that, if the Marines or the military is something you want to go and do, and this isn't maybe a sacrifice you're fully willing to make, then joining the reserves is a great option. I have questions from clients all the time who move through the process and then get cold feet as they move closer, if they've got family or whatever. And I always suggest to them, have you looked into reserves? And 9 times out of 10 they haven't. People just don't think about that as a valid option. In the reserves, yes, there's an upfront amount of time you have to spend in training, etc., etc. It's much less intensive and much less of a time commitment initially, but it is still there. But after that training period finishes, what you then have is more autonomy, more control over where you spend your time and how much time you actually commit to the service. So if this is a major concern for you and you still want that military lifestyle, or you still want to experience what that military lifestyle is, then joining the reserves can be a great option. And number 3 is if you play the victim in any significant scenarios in your life. So to my mind, there are perspectives and ways in which you can view certain situations. The situation can be the same, your perspective on that situation can be very different depending on your mindset and depending on just how you perceive things. So if something bad happens or if something difficult happens and your go-to reaction is, woe is me, why is this happening to me, this always goes on, I'm not at fault, X, Y, and Z, then the military is just going to be very challenging for you. Certainly, again, those more elite units. If you're the other way inclined, in terms of something happens to you, a challenge gets presented, and your mindset is, okay, that's happened, isolate it. What can I now do to fix it? What can I now do to solve it? You're solution focused versus problem focused. You're going to be far better off because there are so many instances in training and throughout your career where you're going to be presented with challenging scenarios. If just because of your mindset you're a little bit unable to deal with those things and you feel like it's unfair or you feel like it's not supposed to be happening to you in that way, then you're just setting yourself a massive disadvantage. If, on the other hand, you look at these challenging situations as an opportunity for growth, or you just look at them and are able to logically break them down and make a plan to move around it and move past it, then you're going to be in a far better spot. This isn't, however, something that's set in stone, and to be fair, none of these things are. You can definitely change this mindset. It will just require repetition, because if you're someone who naturally thinks one way, it takes a significant period of time and intentionality to change that way of thinking. So again, if you're not prepared to do that, then potentially the military is not for you. However, if you are prepared to put in the work and you are prepared to change the way you think about things, then you're probably able to make this happen. If those 3 things resonated with you, then again, it ain't the end of the road. okay? You can still make progress, you can still move towards a career in the military. You may just have to take these things into consideration and think a little deeper around your reasons for joining, around whether you want to spend much more time away from family, around your perception of hard events, challenging events. Because again, all of these things just set you up for failure if you move through the process, as an example, and again, you're just focused on status. Well, again, not strong enough to get you through different challenging scenarios. If you're not prepared to spend time away from family and all of a sudden you've got 6 months away, your mindset and your head is going to be so distracted that you're probably not going to be able to focus on the job at hand again, which is going to likely lead to some failure. And finally, if you're unable to view challenging situations in a productive way and move past them and solve things, then you're probably going to be caught out day one, week one of training. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's kind of illuminating for some of you. If it is, and if there's any other suggestions on what you want me to cover on this channel, then please pop them in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be doing a lot more of these, so I'll see you in the next one.